Have you ever met someone whose mind never stops racing, jumping from one idea to the next, but whose emotions feel like a locked door you just can't open? It's like they're constantly changing, unpredictable, and yet somehow deeply intriguing. That restless energy, that constant shift between light and shadow, that's the true nature of a Gemini. Today, we're diving into the hidden layers behind this fascinating zodiac sign. Gemini isn't just about being talkative or social. There's a complex mix of intelligence, emotion, and inner conflict that shapes how they think, feel, and relate to the world. If you've ever felt confused by a Gemini's mood swings, or puzzled by their charm that can both attract and push people away, you're in the right place. In this video, we'll explore deep psychological truths and astrological insights that explain why Gemini behaves the way they do. These ideas aren't just for astrology fans. They're tools to better understand human nature and maybe even yourself. So before we jump in, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and give this video a like if you're curious to uncover more about the mysterious minds of Gemini. Trust me, what you'll learn here might just change the way you see them forever. Let's get started. When you think about someone whose mind races constantly, you might picture a person who is always looking for the next exciting thing, never quite satisfied with the present moment. That restless energy is a hallmark of Gemini, but beneath this outward restlessness lies something deeper, an internal conflict that often goes unnoticed. Imagine a person who is not just curious about the world, but also about themselves, struggling to understand who they really are. This existential anxiety drives them to seek new ideas, new experiences, hoping that each fresh perspective might bring a clearer sense of identity. It's like chasing a shadow, always moving, never quite caught. This restless intellect can be exhausting, not just for the Gemini, but for everyone around them. Think about a friend who's constantly changing plans, shifting opinions, or diving into new hobbies every week. It's thrilling at first, but over time, it can feel unpredictable and even unsettling. Their mind is a whirlwind, and their thoughts leap from one topic to another, making it difficult to pin them down. This pattern can create a sense of instability, especially for people who crave consistency and predictability in their relationships. What's more, this rapid mental activity often creates an emotional distance. It's not that Geminis don't feel deeply, but their way of processing emotions is very different. Instead of plunging into feelings, they tend to analyze them from a distance. This intellectualizing of emotions can seem like detachment, but it's actually a coping mechanism. By stepping back and thinking things through, they protect. It's as if they build a wall around their heart, not because they don't want to connect, but because they fear losing control over their feelings. Imagine someone who always seems charming and engaging, but when you try to get closer, they pull away emotionally. You might feel confused or rejected, wondering if you did something wrong. The truth is, they're not avoiding you personally. They are protecting themselves from emotional vulnerability. This kind of detachment can be frustrating for partners or friends, especially when they want more openness and intimacy. Yet, for the Gemini, this distance is a way to survive in a world that often feels overwhelming. There's also a deep psychological tension inside them between the need for freedom and the desire for connection. On one hand, they crave independence, the ability to explore, change, and evolve without being tied down. On the other, like all human beings, they long to belong, to be understood, and to form lasting bonds. This conflict creates a push and pull dynamic in their lives. It's like walking on a tightrope, balancing between two opposing needs. And this struggle often plays out in their relationships and daily choices. For example, you might notice a Gemini friend who fiercely guards their freedom, unwilling to be boxed into routines or commitments. Yet, at the same time, they might seek attention and validation from their social circle, enjoying the feeling of being wanted. This duality is confusing, not just for those around them, but for themselves as well. It's a constant negotiation between exploration and attachment. One way Geminis cope with these inner tensions is through humor. Their quick wit and playful sarcasm are not just for entertainment, they're a shield. When life feels uncertain or painful, humor becomes a way to deflect and protect. They might crack jokes or use sarcasm to lighten the mood, but often it's a mask for deeper insecurities. Behind the laughter, there can be feelings of vulnerability and fear of rejection. Think about times when you've met someone who's incredibly funny but suddenly makes a sarcastic comment that stings. You laugh it off, but inside you might feel hurt. That's the tricky part of Gemini humor. It walks a fine line between connection and distance. For them, sarcasm can be an unconscious way to keep others at arm's length while still engaging socially. It's a delicate balance, and sometimes it backfires, leaving others feeling confused or even offended. This use of humor as a defense can also make it hard for Geminis to be fully seen. People might only know the playful, witty side, but not the sensitive, anxious parts beneath. This can create a sense of loneliness, because despite being surrounded by friends, they might feel emotionally isolated. They long to be understood beyond their jokes, but fear that revealing too much might lead to rejection. Geminis handle their emotions, especially under stress. Their mood swings are often rapid and intense, which can feel like an emotional roller coaster to both themselves and those close to them. One moment, they might be lively and optimistic, the next, withdrawn or irritable. This volatility isn't random. It's a response to the internal push-pull they experience. Their mind is working overtime to balance competing desires, and their emotions reflect this struggle. For example, if a Gemini feels trapped by routine or emotional expectations, they may suddenly withdraw or act unpredictably to regain a sense of control. It's a survival tactic, but it can confuse people who don't understand the deeper causes. Those around them might feel like they're constantly walking on eggshells, never knowing which version of Gemini they will encounter. This unpredictability can strain relationships and make it difficult for others to build trust. So, what can we learn from this? First, understanding that this restless energy and emotional detachment come from deep internal conflicts helps foster empathy. Instead of labeling a Gemini as flaky or inconsistent, we can see the complex dance they perform between their mind and heart. Second, if you're a Gemini yourself, recognizing these patterns can empower you to find healthier ways to cope. It might mean practicing patience with yourself, allowing space for emotional vulnerability, or developing routines that offer stability without suffocating your need for freedom. In daily life, try to notice when your mind races and take a moment to ground yourself. It could be as simple as pausing to breathe deeply or journaling your thoughts to bring clarity. When it comes to relationships, honest communication about your needs for both independence and connection can help create understanding and balance. And if you find humor becoming a shield, explore ways to express your feelings directly, even if it feels uncomfortable at first. Ultimately, the restless intellect, the emotional walls, and the complex push and pull of freedom and belonging are all part of what makes Gemini so uniquely human. They are seekers, explorers of both the world and themselves, navigating a path that is rarely straightforward, but always fascinating. Understanding this deeper layer invites us all to approach Gemini with kindness and curiosity, appreciating the beautiful complexity behind their ever-changing nature. Geminis have a way of lighting up a room. Their charm is effortless and magnetic, pulling people in with a smile or a quick joke. You might have a friend like this, someone who seems to glide through social situations with ease, captivating everyone they meet. Their wit and energy make them the life of any gathering. But beneath that charm lies something more complex: security or closeness that isn't always meant to last.
Imagine falling for someone who dazzles you with their attention, their clever words, their playful teasing. At first, it feels exciting, even magical. But then, the thrill fades, and suddenly, they're distant, moving on before you even understand what happened. This is where Gemini's charm becomes a double-edged sword. It's both a gift and a defense. Their boredom with routine, their constant search for novelty, means they rarely settle for long in one place or with one person. And for those left behind, this can feel like betrayal. The hurt is real, especially for people who seek deep, lasting love. The inconsistency that seems so natural to a Gemini can feel like rejection to others. But why does this happen? Part of it is Gemini's fierce independence. Over time, many Geminis learn that relying too much on others can lead to disappointment. They realize that their happiness can't depend on anyone else. This self-sufficiency becomes a shield, protecting them from pain and vulnerability. While this independence makes them resilient, it also creates emotional distance. Those who want to get close may find a wall instead of an open door. Partners might feel shut out or unimportant. It's not that Gemini doesn't care. They often care deeply, but their way of caring is different. It's subtle, sometimes hidden behind aloofness. This balance between connection and independence is a tightrope Gemini walks daily. They want to be understood without losing their freedom. They want to love without being trapped. This can make them seem aloof or even cold, but it's often just a protective strategy. If you know a Gemini, remember this. Their distance isn't always rejection. It's a way to keep themselves safe in a world that can feel overwhelming. Another fascinating aspect of Gemini is their ability to see things from multiple perspectives. They are thinkers who don't settle for one side of a story. This duality is a source of great insight and creativity. It allows them to understand complex situations and empathize with different viewpoints. However, it also means they can struggle to make decisions. They see so many sides, they get stuck in a loop of indecision. This emotional tug-of-war can be exhausting, both for them and for those around them. Imagine trying to plan a trip with a Gemini friend who keeps changing their mind about the destination. One moment they want the beach, the next a mountain hike. Their inability to settle on one choice can be frustrating. It's not just about the trip, it's a reflection of their internal conflict. Their constant wavering can make them seem unreliable or flaky. For people who value certainty and stability, this can be difficult to accept. But for Gemini, this is part of how they process the world, balancing multiple possibilities and avoiding rigid thinking. This struggle with decision-making is tied to their
Experience as well. Their moods often shift quickly, reflecting their internal debates. One day they might be enthusiastic and outgoing, the next withdrawn and unsure. This instability can make relationships challenging, especially with people who prefer steadiness. Understanding this emotional fluidity helps us see Geminis in a new light, not as unpredictable or inconsistent, but as deeply human and complex. Geminis also have a unique way of finding happiness. Unlike some zodiac signs that pursue material success or status, Geminis value emotional experiences and personal connections above all. They find joy in moments of genuine feeling, a heartfelt conversation, a burst of laughter, a sudden adventure. This focus on emotions rather than possessions can make them seem idealistic or even impractical to others. For example, a Gemini might choose a spontaneous road trip with friends over a promotion at work. To them, collecting memories matters more than accumulating things. However, this emotional prioritization can create distance between Geminis and those who measure success differently. People who value material achievements might see them as unrealistic or out of touch. This difference in values sometimes breeds misunderstanding and resentment. Yet, for Gemini, this emotional richness is their true wealth. If you're watching this and wondering how to connect with a Gemini, one key is to honor their emotional depth and respect their unique priorities. They might not flaunt possessions or talk about achievements, but they treasure genuine moments and meaningful relationships. Sharing experiences with them can open doors that words alone cannot. As we peel back the layers of Gemini's nature, it becomes clear how their charm, independence, duality, and emotional focus create a vibrant but sometimes challenging personality. They live in a dynamic space between connection and freedom, certainty and change, thought and feeling. Coming up next, we'll explore some of the most intense and even controversial sides of Gemini, the parts that test their relationships and challenge those around them in ways that are both fascinating and, at times, difficult to understand. Stay with me for the next part, where we'll uncover these deeper truths that make Gemini truly unforgettable. Geminis are often admired for their adaptability and quick thinking. They can adjust to new situations with ease, making them seem like they have everything under control. But this flexibility is a double-edged sword. While it allows them to handle change smoothly, it can also lead to misunderstandings. People around them might mistake this constant adaptability for inconsistency or unreliability. Imagine working with a Gemini colleague who shifts strategies or opinions often. At first, it might feel like they are open-minded, but over time, it can become frustrating when they don't seem to stick to commitment. Instead, it reflects Gemini's deep ability to see multiple sides and their natural resistance to rigidity. For Geminis themselves, this flexibility is a way to navigate a complex world, but for others, it can feel like they are trying to catch smoke, impossible to grasp firmly. Communication is another area where Gemini's complexity shines. Their words can be dazzling and insightful, yet sometimes confusing or overwhelming. They have a unique way of expressing themselves that combines intelligence with playfulness. However, this style can leave others unsure of their true feelings or intentions. Imagine a conversation where a Gemini jumps from topic to topic, making clever jokes and observations, but never revealing what's really on their mind. This can make it difficult for others to connect on a deeper level. Yet, beneath this lively exterior lies a need for clarity and understanding that often goes unmet. For those who want to build strong connections with a Gemini, patience is key. Encouraging open, honest dialogue and gently asking for their true feelings can help bridge the gap between their vibrant communication style and emotional depth. Geminis also have a powerful aversion to emotional monotony. They crave excitement and spontaneity in their relationships, often rejecting traditional ideas about love and connection. This can be both refreshing and challenging. On one hand, their desire for novelty keeps things lively and engaging. On the other, it can make them avoid the very stability that many seek in lasting partnerships. Picture a Gemini partner who surprises you with spontaneous plans or unconventional expressions of affection. It's thrilling, but sometimes it leaves you longing for steadiness and predictability. Their need for excitement is a reflection of their restless spirit, always seeking new experiences and perspectives. For anyone close to a Gemini, learning to appreciate this dynamic can create a more fulfilling relationship. It's about finding balance, embracing the sparks of spontaneity while cultivating moments of calm and trust. This questioning nature of Gemini doesn't stop at their social life. It deeply influences how they view themselves and the world. They constantly question assumptions, challenge beliefs, and seek new knowledge. This intellectual curiosity is a powerful tool for growth, but it can also lead to self-doubt and hesitation. Imagine someone who never stops asking, "What if?" or "Is this really true?" This relentless questioning can cause them to second-guess their choices or delay decisions. Yet, this same skepticism pushes them to evolve, to learn, and to avoid settling for easy answers. If you're a Gemini, embracing this paradox is important. Use your questioning mind as a way to deepen your understanding, but don't let it trap you in endless loops. Trust the greatest form of wisdom. The love for intellectual stimulation often means Geminis prioritize their mind over their emotions. They seek mental challenges, engaging conversations, and new ideas more than emotional comfort. This can make them seem distant or disconnected to others who desire emotional warmth and reassurance. Think about a Gemini who lights up when discussing a fascinating topic, but pulls back when asked about their feelings. This divide between mind and heart is a classic Gemini struggle. Yet the true challenge lies in integrating these two parts of themselves to balance rational thought with emotional vulnerability. For Geminis, learning to honor their feelings as much as their ideas is a crucial step toward deeper self-awareness and more meaningful relationships. It's a journey of bringing together the intellect and the heart in harmony. What's often overlooked is the sensitivity that hides beneath Gemini's lively and sometimes playful exterior. They may appear carefree and witty, but inside, they can be deeply vulnerable. This sensitivity isn't always obvious because they tend to mask it with humor or intellectualization. But when they feel misunderstood or rejected, the pain runs deep. Imagine a Gemini who laughs off criticism but later dwells on it privately, feeling hurt yet reluctant to show it. Recognizing this hidden sensitivity helps us respond with greater empathy. If you know a Gemini, offering gentle support and patience can make a world of difference. Sometimes just being there without judgment is the best way to help them open up. Finally, Gemini's humor can be a double-edged sword. Their quick wit and playful teasing are part of their charm, but sometimes their jokes cross boundaries and cause unintended hurt. They may not realize how their words affect others, especially when sarcasm is involved. This lack of awareness isn't malice. It's often a blind spot in their social awareness, but the impact can still be painful. Think of a situation where a Gemini's joke hits a sore spot, leaving someone feeling embarrassed or excluded. For those close to a Gemini, communicating openly about how their humor affects you is important. And for Geminis, learning to balance humor with kindness is a vital step toward nurturing healthier relationships. As we continue, the next few points will reveal some of the most profound and even controversial aspects of Gemini's personality. These truths are not always easy to hear, but are essential for truly understanding this fascinating sign. Stay tuned for insights that will deepen your perspective and challenge what you thought you knew. Geminis often present themselves as social butterflies, effortlessly charming and engaging everyone around them. Their gift for making connections and holding lively conversations is undeniable. You might notice how a Gemini woman in particular seems to light up every room she enters. She can talk to anyone, make them feel heard, and effortlessly become the center of attention. But sometimes this very sociability can create unexpected tensions. When a Gemini thrives on being in the spotlight, it can leave others feeling overshadowed or neglected. Imagine being at a party where one person's charisma fills the space so completely that others struggle to get a word in. This can cause feelings of invisibility and frustration, especially for those who seek deeper, more genuine connections. The charm that draws people in may also feel manipulative or surface level to someone longing for emotional depth. For Gemini, the thrill of social interaction is energizing, but it can unintentionally create distance from those who desire authenticity and emotional closeness. Geminis are known for their spontaneity and love of freedom. This can be incredibly exciting to experience. They live in the moment, often acting on impulse without hesitation. Picture a Gemini suddenly deciding to steal a kiss in an unexpected moment, or making a bold choice that surprises everyone. Their passion and zest for life can be contagious. However, this spontaneity can also be challenging for those who prefer predictability and steadiness. The unpredictability can leave people feeling caught off guard, sometimes even uncomfortable. This carefree attitude may be misunderstood as recklessness or inconsideration. The Gemini's desire to break free from constraints and live fully in the present can make it hard for others to know where they stand or what to expect next. For those close to a Gemini, learning to embrace their impulsiveness while communicating boundaries can help create harmony. It's a balance between giving them space to be themselves and fostering trust through stability. When it comes to relationships, many people find Gemini women particularly elusive and hard to win over. This isn't because they don't want love, but because they hold themselves to high standards. They value intelligence, wit, and authenticity above all else. Imagine trying to impress someone who sees right through superficial charm or empty compliments. Gemini women can easily detect insincerity, which makes them cautious about who they open up to. This guarded nature can be frustrating for those who want to get close, leading to feelings of rejection or inadequacy. But for a Gemini, protecting their heart is a form of self-care. They don't settle for less than genuine connection, even if it means being perceived as unattainable. For anyone hoping to build a relationship with a Gemini woman, sincerity and respect are the keys. Showing your true self, engaging in meaningful conversations, and respecting her need for space can open the door to a deeper bond. Even though Geminis often speak with sharp wit and natural sarcastic remark without thinking about how it might land, to them it might feel like harmless teasing, but to someone sensitive, it can sting deeply. This unfiltered way of speaking can cause misunderstandings and hurt feelings. What makes it harder is that Geminis rarely apologize or try to soften their sarcasm. Their straightforward style is part of who they are. For those around them, this can feel harsh or insensitive. Learning to communicate with a Gemini about how their words affect you is important. Likewise, Geminis can benefit from cultivating empathy and pausing before speaking to consider others' feelings. This mutual understanding can transform sarcasm from a barrier into playful banter that strengthens relationships. As we continue exploring Gemini's nature, the next 3 points will dive even deeper, uncovering truths that are both profound and sometimes controversial. These insights will challenge what you think you know about Gemini and invite you to see them in a new light. Stay with me to discover the complexities that make Gemini truly unforgettable. Geminis often use humor as a way to navigate the world, but sometimes their jokes cross lines that others find hard to accept. Their quick wit and sharp tongue can be entertaining, but when humor turns biting or sarcastic, it can leave a trail of hurt feelings behind. Imagine a Gemini making a joke at someone's expense, thinking it's all in good fun, but that person feeling humiliated or disrespected. This gap between intention and impact is a source of tension in many Gemini relationships. The challenge is that Geminis might not always realize how deeply their words affect others. Their playful teasing can sometimes mask a lack of awareness or sensitivity, which causes friction with people who value kindness and emotional safety. If you're close to a Gemini, it's important to communicate openly about how their humor makes you feel. For Geminis themselves, learning to balance their natural playfulness with empathy can transform their relationships. It's about recognizing that words carry power. They can heal or hurt, connect or divide. The greatest strength lies in knowing when to be playful and when to be gentle. Beneath the lively, witty exterior of a Gemini lies a deep sensitivity that often goes unseen. They might laugh off criticism or brush aside hurtful comments, but inside, the pain can run very deep. This hidden vulnerability makes them complex individuals who sometimes wear their emotional armor to protect themselves. It's like a delicate flower surrounded by thorns, easy to miss the softness if you only see the surface. Geminis may hesitate to reveal their true feelings out of fear of rejection or misunderstanding. They carry the weight of this sensitivity silently, which can lead to loneliness, even in the midst of social crowds. A Gemini, offering patience and understanding, can open a safe space for them to be their authentic selves. Sometimes, the greatest gift you can give is simply to listen without judgment. Looking at the full picture, Gemini's complexity is a reminder that people are rarely just one thing. They are a blend of contradictions, bright yet vulnerable, playful yet serious, free-spirited yet guarded. Their restless minds and shifting emotions are not flaws, but part of what makes them uniquely human. Understanding this allows us to move beyond frustration or judgment toward empathy and appreciation. If you see yourself in this exploration of Gemini, know that your complexity is a strength. Your curiosity, adaptability, and depth offer endless opportunities for growth and connection. And if you know someone who is a Gemini, remember that beneath the surface of unpredictability and humor lies a rich inner world, deserving of patience and kindness. If this video spoke to you, consider subscribing to the channel so you don't miss out on more insights like this. Share it with someone who might need to hear these truths about Gemini or about themselves. There's so much more to uncover in the Zodiac and in ourselves. Stay curious, stay open, and I'll see you in the next video where we'll dive into even more fascinating facets of astrology and human nature.